anyone else jumps on, I'll pull it from the recording. So today is technically our 2B mindset call, but we're kind of just covering the most important basics. And that is always have a cup of water or something. The biggest thing, I can't drink water. I hate water, whatever. Then add something to it. Add some fruit, add some cucumber, this is hydrate. So hydrate is what? 40 calories for a scoop. So putting a whole scoop in 4 times a day is probably not a good choice, but put a scoop in a giant cup and water it down, adds a little zing. If you need a little pick-me-up in the afternoon, add like half a scoop of Energize. There you go. Adding it with your hydrate, it's like a afternoon treat. And once it gets like to halfway, add more water and keep filling it up. Because I agree, sometimes I love water and I can drink like a gallon and a half and it's all good. Other days I'm like, oh, I've had one and it's like 2 p.m. So getting in the habit of, I'm hungry. First step, or while you're preparing the food, pour yourself a big cup and drink it. And in figuring out how you drink water best, like some people like ice cold water, but often you can't chug ice cold water because you get a brain freeze or something.
Oh, okay.
So it's finding how you're going to drink it best. Like what cup am I going to enjoy drinking it in? A big water bottle. If I drink it out of this though, I'm like, I've been drinking half the day and I'm halfway through. Like it's not going to work. So you have to find, like, it's like a whole nother learning system, finding how you're going to drink water best. And how do we figure that out? By tracking, writing it down. What made water drinking easy that day? What made me remember? And sometimes it's super simple things. Like I saw Emily post that she has a great new water bottle and it's exactly 4 times she has to fill it up. So she's writing down a piece of paper because she sits at the same place every day. Tabitha was filling up 3 water bottles a day, and you drank your 3 water bottles. I tend to refill and I tend to use my glass like 3 days in a row. And I remember to watch it because I'm like, tastes like Energize or it tastes like whatever. Another tool in the afternoon to help you drink more water. These are actually, they're pretty good. The new Bevy drinks. And by 2B rules, it wouldn't count as water because it's got extra stuff in it. But water's water. You're getting water in your body. Like this says to mix it with 8 ounces of water. And for me, I water down all my drinks. So I mix it in with 30 ounces of water. So yes, that counts as 24 ounces of water then, doesn't it? So whatever you need to do to make yourself drink more water, just do it. Sometimes those rules are just silly. Carbonated water, you shouldn't be drinking that all day, but if it helps you get past a craving for something else in the afternoon, have it. Have at it. And if that's what you have half the day too, it's fine. But
I was going to say, Nicola, with the carbonated water, I freaking love LaCroix. Like I've been doing the LaCroix with a 1/4 scoop of the Energize and a 1/2 scoop of Hydrate. And it's like a cocktail. I just freaking love it so much, but it can be dangerous though, because I've never been a carbonated water drinker. And now I have become one. And I'm now saying, okay, I'm doing 1 a day because I remember watching in the UPF videos, she talked about a lot of clients coming back and say, well, I'm drinking a lot of, fizzy water or whatever. It doesn't have any calories. And they were complaining that they were gaining weight. So just be careful of that. I think it can kind of make you kind of gassy and a little bloaty, even though I love it. So, but limit yourself with the carbonated water. So I'm like 1 a day and that's it. So.
Yes. Next thing is tracking. It's easy to do it, but it's easier not to do it. So whether it's pen and paper, whether it's the Nutrition Plus app, make sure you have something and you're consistent with it. Because I mean, we think of it just for food, but like I said, using it for how you're drinking more water, not just how much water you're drinking. Using it for how you're feeling, for how you're sleeping, for tracking your PMS, for tracking your, I mean, Rhonda's found all sorts of different things that affect her ups and downs. And it's, oh, because I wrote it down, I finally figured that out. And we can go through these things for months before we're like, huh, maybe there's a pattern to that. So it's, tracking is good for so many things. And then finding the tools in the tracker. Like I was just pulled out the Ultimate Portion Fix logbook. Not a fan of how it's laid out. It does give you tons of stuff for reflection and evaluating your day, but it's missing some key things like, well, for one, how many containers you should be eating. I'm like, that should be front and center. The 2B Mindset Planner, I love because it lets you plan out your week. And for me, planning out my dinners for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, especially as we go back to school, as we get into a school cycle again, because down here in the United States, the kids are going in. Canada, you guys have some time yet. So planning those 4 meals, planning your shopping around it, planning your other meals from it, and setting yourself for success, and then stepping over and getting those weekend ones planned too. But we often, you know, Friday night is always pizza here. It's always a little bit different, or my part of it's always a little bit different because I had either have broccoli or zucchini or cabbage. And then we plan out the dinner because I'm very grateful. My husband helps me with weekend dinners so we can work together on that. So you have to find a system though that works for your family. And typically mom is in charge of those weekday dinners. So making a specific as you can, with leeway for, I mean, Tabitha's back to some sports with her kids. We aren't. So it really depends on, I mean, everything's so variable for every area right now. So tracking, and how are you guys for tracking? Like what, you can unmute yourselves and let me know what tracking's working best for you guys.
Inconsistent. That's how I would describe mine. But when I do it, it is very effective, incredibly effective. So it just I need to get it to become a habit, that it doesn't feel like a chore, that it just is part of the system that we do. So
and how is that working for you with doing Ultimate Portion Fix without tracking? How are you keeping track of your containers then?
Because I've been eating a lot of the same things. Like I eat the same thing for my pre-workout. Like I do like the beach bar and like I have it all. And then I just know at dinner I'm going for a vegetable. Then like my typical with the sweet potato, cubed sweet potato, and then some kind of protein. So like for dinner. So I kind of have it mapped out. And I don't get real crazy. I haven't been super creative. So yeah, that's how I stay on track. But I know I can do way better, and I know that tracking is the answer. So I just need to make it a habit so that it can become a chore.
Come on, commit with me. I'm like tracking queen right now.
I'm pulling out my tracker right now, girl.
Okay, who else?
Hey, this is Patty. I'm sorry, my camera's not on. I'm at the beach right now, and I keep
Nick is jealous. Keep it on.
I have been finding it helpful to plan out my meals, my weekday meals, like you mentioned, and then putting those in on like a daily tracker, and then going backwards, like they say in the Portion Fix videos, and planning out the rest of the day. So then I know exactly what I want for dinner, and I know how many, containers it is, and then I can back plan the rest of my day and kind of be able to fill in.
Perfect. Okay, who's next? Tammy? Are you tracking?
Yeah, I track everything. I track my water, even if I have my licorice, which is my favorite thing for a treat. I track everything in my day.
If it goes in your mouth, you write it down. Good job.
Yeah.
How much has that helped you? Tammy, is that been oh, she's off. Oh. Has that been the game changer for you, Tammy?
Oh.
The tracking when you started consistently
Yeah.
tracking, is that where you, because I know you've had amazing results.
Yeah, that's part of it, is knowing what's going in your mouth, and it shows on the scale. And working out, and
consistency.
that's about it.
You're crushing it, girl.
Consistency, yes. Thank you.
Good job. Okay, I'm unmuting you, Rhonda. Oh, I can't. Oh, there we go. Okay, Rhonda, tell us about your tracking.
Oh man, I track everything. But I'm gonna have to actually up my game a little bit because my student loan got approved. So now I'm freaking out about time management. So I'm not gonna have that extra hour to sit there and think, what am I gonna make for supper? So I think I'm going to, at the start of every week, decide what I'm gonna have each day and then track backwards for those meals. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to meal prep better and at all.
That's exciting. You were worried about that.
Yes.
That loan. So that a stress gone. It creates a new stress, but
yeah, a new stress. How am I gonna do this?
Good.
But yeah, I track everything. I track my food. I track my cycle. I track my migraines. I track everything. So
yes, and you are for sure one who's had a lot of discoveries from that too.
Yeah.
Which tracker did you put together? I know. Do you use the 2B tracker, or I know you're like a organizer girl. I've seen your planners, girl. What do you use? A couple of different planners, or do you use just the 2B? Can you tell us what you do?
Actually, I don't use the 2B planner anymore. I use the Happy Planner Wellness Tracker or Wellness Planner, and it's nice and blank, and it's got all the room that I need to do my tracking, and I can add pages if I need to.
Super cool. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Erin, are you still a master tracker?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I track every day still. But I use the Bot app.
Okay.
I'm not I feel like if I have to go write it down for some reason, then it feels tedious to me. I don't know why. I mean, I still have to pick up my phone and do it, but just for it's just my preference, I guess. But I do like tracking. It makes me feel like I'm being intentional about what I'm eating, you know. I think I would get lost if I didn't track, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. And how about you, Tabitha?
Well, I was tracking and I kind of fell off the tracking wagon, you would say. And I've noticed it. I've actually gained 6 pounds since falling off the tracking wagon. So I'm going back to tracking now and making sure that anything that's going in my mouth is getting written down. And I have like a daily to-do list of stuff that needs to get done every day. And can you hear that in the background? I hope you can't hear that. The kids are they're being a band. They're creating a band or something right now. But anyways, I actually added tracking my food to my daily to-do list. So it's like 2 places that I have to check it off so that I know that I'm getting it done now.
Awesome. Yeah, it is. It's amazing how you're like, how can it make that much of a difference? Well, there you have it. Like we're all, and I just took my photos from the first round of MBF where like my strength has increased. I can see improvement, but the scale didn't change. I didn't do measurements the first round, and I am super excited to see what happens this time with dialing in that nutrition. And I eat healthy. Like someone would go, what do you mean? You eat super, and I do eat super healthy. I do eat a lot of vegetables, but I also, if I'm hungry after lunch, I fill up a bowl 2 times of the popcorn from the cupboard, or I pull out the tortilla chips, or it's the mindless snacking as those, and it adds up. And you only realize it when you're like, I should probably write this down, but I don't want to. So if it's something that you're like, well, I don't want to write it down, so I'm not going to have it. There, solved your problem.
It made me think of the compound effect is always in action, right?
Yes,
Whether
that little,
good habits
things.
or bad habits, right? You don't gain back the weight in a day or whatever. It takes time to do that, and then it also takes time to take it off. It's the same idea. I mean, you have to consistently compound those positive or negative habits to get whatever result.
Yep, big time. Planning ahead for those meals is, there's so many meal plans. Like in our groups, we've got meal plans, and I don't like to take one grocery list and go to the grocery store and buy everything. That's not how I operate, because I'm like, but it's not on sale. or I've got this in the freezer, so I need to use this. So I typically go through the Fixate recipe books, and those are all accessible in Beachbody On Demand now. The 2B, going through the mindset group every month and pulling out a couple of the recipes and printing them off. If there's something that suits what you might like, Pinterest, whatever meat protein or whatever you have. Like I've been looking for eggplant recently, and I found a few good eggplant recipes, and then finding vegan ones for Caitlin that can work in with what we're eating, which will work better on the portion plan over 2B Mindset, because the biggest problem with when you switch back and forth between vegan when you're doing 2B Mindset is all those carbs at dinner. And I'm like, so this actually might, for the next 3 weeks, I'm doing some Ultimate Portion Fix experiments, and that will work better for me. So it's finding and then challenging yourself to trying new things. At least one new recipe a week is good. Then you can put that in the rotation. But then you get like these 10 meals that are easy for you to prepare, and you put them in the rotation 3 to 4 days a week. Make planning so much easier, make shopping so much easier. You have all the basics of it in your pantry or your fridge already, or your freezer, and you're good to go. If you're value shopping and it's like specific meats or something that your family loves, buy it when it's on sale and shove it in the freezer. Like you just have to plan the day before to pull it out, to thaw it out. Although last Thursday, I had chicken drumsticks, and I pulled them out of the freezer and they weren't fully thawed. So I just put the oven on a little lower and left them in there a little longer, and I baked them instead of barbecuing them to make sure they got cooked on the inside. So, we can find ways. You can do drumsticks in the Instant Pot. I did that last year too. Like there's so many ways of cooking our foods. There's never, in my opinion, there's never a reason to say, darn it, we're just going out for fast food, unless the power goes off, right, Rhonda? But so other than no power and no way to get in your stuff and cook, you should always have something. Like I buy fish in those little, and it's harder when you have more kids. I have 2 kids, and so I know it is harder, especially when you have 2 of you with more than 2 kids. but having like fish in individual packets, I prefer not to buy chicken and things that way, but it's easier to defrost. You can just pull it out and it's good to go. I mean, now that we sometimes have tofu in the dinner, that's super easy too. It sits in the fridge, and then whatever you're doing to prepare it, you can throw it in. It's really easy in a stir fry. Do you guys have any easy meals that work well for you?
One of the easiest things, I think I've said this before on one of the calls, but we raise our own broilers. We raise chickens and butcher them and then throw them in the freezer like a whole chicken. And the easiest thing I do is, Sunday or Monday, it goes in the slow cooker, and then I make meals all week off of it. I just pull it all apart when it's all done, and I have a couple different meals that we make. I mean, the kids kind of get sick of them every once in a while, and I have to spice them up a little bit, but we just we can have like chicken enchiladas, and they can have them in the shells, and I put it in like lettuce, or sometimes I just eat it plain because it tastes good plain that way, but just that's what's easiest for me, is to make something ahead of time and then just throw it into other meals.
And that is brilliant, because I mean, even if you don't raise your own broilers, whole chickens go on sale a lot, and you just buy like 4 or 5 and throw them in the freezer, and then you pull it out. We will, we buy whole chickens every so often, and then we spatchcock them. We cut them in half and we barbecue them. Although then we eat the whole chicken in one night, but we have 4. Well, I guess it lasts longer now because there's only 3 of us eating chicken. But yeah, that's I love that. Rhonda or Mary Beth, do you have any meal tips?
I would say mine would be using, I haven't used it a ton, but I've always made hard-boiled eggs, and I usually will make them on Sunday. And that's a big one, because I know that it's a really easy. 2 eggs are 1 red container for Ultimate Portion Fix. And I really love hard-boiled eggs. There's no mess with it, right? I don't have to use a pan. It's all done, and you can make them and have them all week. And then another thing we always just do every week, we do like just chicken breasts on the grill, and because my kids will eat that. They do enjoy chicken, but they will only do grilled chicken. Like, they can't have just a little salt and pepper, like nothing else. My kids are super plain about everything, but I just chop it up, and then I have it to throw in with salads. It's such an easy protein. And sometimes even throw in like a hard-boiled egg, like for a chef salad. But yeah, that's something easy for me to do ahead of time. And then sweet potatoes is something I always do. I cube them. I don't do like mashed sweet potatoes. I just cube them, do olive oil on like 350. And I have those for my yellow. So I have like a tray of them, and then I just leave the yellow container in my fridge. And then I can just kind of scoop out and just use them. They're really good reheated too. So I put them in with eggs as well, the sweet potato.
Roasted sweet potatoes are like candy.
They are.
I love them. Ron, did you have any easy meal things that work for you?
I throw a bag of cauliflower rice in with my ground beef, and that pretty much doubles any recipe that I have or that I'm making, and then I have it for the next 2 or 3 days. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you can grate zucchini in. There's so many. Someone was just, if I sent them, someone was, I should figure out who that was, asking me for ideas for kids. Their kids don't eat enough vegetables, and I'm like, oh, like, and I forgot about the cauliflower rice, but I'm like, zucchini you can grate. If you take the skin off, especially, it's even easier to hide. Cut it small and put it in. Absolutely. I mean, you can put it in baked goods, for goodness sake. But yeah, cauliflower rice. And I put rice broccoli in something recently too, and that was super easy. But yes, I like things you can just throw all together. So the other thing that we're going to touch on is we're doing another flash sale on Friday. And because, I mean, you guys are both set, or all 4 of you are all set, but we want to share this with everyone else, and this call is being recorded, so anyone who watches it, because this month we have the bonus of 2B Mindset and Ultimate Portion Fix in the packs. We just want to share the value. So it's a great, we'll put the link below this and we'll start sharing it more tomorrow or on Wednesday. And it's just going to give you the value of all the packs, and show how easy learning about these programs is, and how easy, I mean, I think everyone today has shared fabulously how they've worked these programs into their lives. And, you know, we have, I think everyone, my kids are probably the oldest of all of us on the call today. Mine are 17 and 14, and we're all the way down to toddlers. So we've got, we're moms covering all the ranges, and we're making these meal plans work with our lives. And it's the nutrition that makes the difference. That workouts are awesome and they're so good for our mental health and our full body health. But that nutrition, if we want to see the big changes on the scale, nutrition is number one. So any questions before we call it a day today? No, we're good. Okay. Well, we'll have another call next Tuesday. And we're gonna, yeah, questions in advance are always good too. If you want, we can research things and get more details. So thank you for coming, guys. And we will see you all soon.